Christine and Tim.
Christine, Sofran, Nitin.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
But this world, as big as it is, one person can be the tipping scale to really create a domino effect that no one ever seen coming. I would like to remind people, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to judge you and tell you you're too naive.
Hi, everyone. Day 5 of the Get Booked as a Speaker Bootcamp. Today's the last day, y'all. And honestly, the past couple of days has been a crazy adventure. I'm sure many of you had an amazing time, have learned a lot. I'm getting crazy amount of feedback from you. I mean, the team and I, we've gotten messages through DMs, through emails, like literally the feedback that you're giving us each and every day not only is motivating for me to keep bringing you more and more energy and information and inspiration to really get you booked for speaking engagements and get you excited about the prospects that's ahead of you, but it shows me that it really is something that's truly important to you, learning this process. And so as we turn to the last day of this bootcamp series, I want you to set the intention today that at the end of this bootcamp, you are going to take action and apply what we discuss. And I'm going to invite you one more time at the end of this session to an opportunity to help you execute on that vision that you have for yourself, to see you on global stages. I know many of you have an aspiration to not only be a thought leader and a public speaker because of all the benefits we shared over the past couple of days, but because you know it's time to make a decisive decision for your future and invest in the opportunity that's going to get you from point A to point B. Okay. And so welcome back. I'm so excited to welcome you back to this next day. And I want to kick off with really eliminating some of the misconceptions that we have when it comes to public speaking, because again, we're listening to your feedback, we're listening to your concerns. And I want to reiterate certain things that I also mentioned during the live yesterday that I think that was really empowering for many of you. One, every topic is bookable. I think this one was a big game changer for a lot of you. A lot of people said that this was a major aha moment, right? That, you know, what topic do I need to find that's going to be able to get me booked faster? That's more lucrative for corporate engagement, for international engagements. Like, what's going to be the topic that's going to work? And I shared with you that almost every topic in under the sun is bookable. So what this does is frees your energy from trying to search for the next big thing or the next big topic, to instead pour into you finding the patterns of wisdom in your thought leadership, in your experience, to provide that value to others as a public speaking engagement in a form of a talk, which is why we talked a lot about your signature talk. What do you want to be known for? Even if that adjusts 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 6 months from now, at the stage that you are today, what is your signature talk? And all you need is one to build a lucrative speaking career. Okay. So every topic is bookable. Number two, everything is also on demand. You'd be very surprised what topics that people are looking from obviously business entrepreneurship, health and wellness, but also things as small as how to launch a popcorn business, or how to, iron a shirt really well. I mean, you'll be very surprised what topics get booked, right? So everything is actually on demand. So not only as everything bookable, but everything is always on demand. You just got to find the right audience. And through this program, we're sharing with you all the different ways you can make your demand more irresistible, more captivating for the audience that need that. Because if you're solving a problem with the solution within your topic, then it meets that demand. And the last thing I want to share with people is that 80% of your next opportunities is right in front of you, right next door. A lot of people forget that sometimes, when it comes to your most quickest speaking engagement, is usually within your most immediate circle, because your immediate circle already knows you to a certain extent and can vouch for you and network. And I'm not saying just someone refer you to speaking engagement, but you also taking the time to look at who's around you, maybe the people that you work with, the people that you engage with, to do a little bit of a conversation about your availability to speak and see what doors open up when you do that. So I just want to share these 3 misconceptions that you can tap into a lot of opportunities, but the misconception here, even though 80% of your next opportunity is right next door, here's the twist to that comment. Even the 20% that's not available to you in your home zone radius, which i.e. right next to you, there's an immense amount of lucrative opportunities outside of your regions. For example, I'm a New Yorker. I'm based in New York. Obviously, you're going to want to reach out to events in the New York ecosystem to get booked for engagements. But I've had tremendous success going against the grain and reaching out to speaking engagements in Dubai, in the Middle East, in Europe, in Asia, and across Africa. Many of you have seen me on a lot of African global stages, right? So sometimes you being the exotic, different person in the room makes you automatically the unique opportunity that you needed, right? And so I just want to share that with you, that a lot of the best opportunities that might come your way may not be the most obvious ones. And during the program that we do for the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator, we talk about, okay, where do you want to take bold chances? And this is what I mean by bold chances. Some of you find it very hard to reach out to your current network for opportunities, and that's fair. A lot of us, don't want to burn bridges or don't feel comfortable. You want to operate incognito a little bit so you feel comfortable. But a lot of you will take bold chances reaching out to opportunities outside of your immediate home circle. So this is a way to look at, opportunities that could come your way outside of your immediate circle. So just want to kick off with tackling some of that, right? And just to recap where you've come so far over the past 4 days. We talked about how to position yourself as a public speaker by creating a product-driven signature talk, right? Some of you are speaking for free because you have not created any intellectual property by creating a signature talk that sells, right? And we talk about how to create a format, a signature talk that gets booked, that serves an audience well, that actually solves a problem, right? Next, we talked about how to leverage your speaker launch kit to market yourself. We talked about all the things you need to market yourself to the public, from optimizing your social media page to create a speaker one-pager to create a speaker proposal. We talked about the 3 things that you need to create to relaunch yourself to the public. And last but not least, I never leave you hanging. I'm not going to just tell you how to position yourself and how to market yourself. I'm going to teach you how to actually reach out to opportunities. Using my scope method, I showed you how to create a consistent process of reaching out to engagements, especially with 5 very simple free databases to close speaking gigs and opportunities. So as we enter today, the last day, day 5, can you believe it? We're actually at day 5 of this boot camp. We're going to enter the conversation and really tie everything back together and talk about how to go beyond speaking engagements, right? That will give you visibility and authority so you could get paid. And this one is a very powerful session for those of you who are on the call, because this one really ties into how do you monetize beyond speaking engagements, right? How do you really think about thinking holistically about your personal brand, probably the most important investment you can make in your career? And how do you expand that, the vision around your personal brand, to be able to monetize it on and off the stage? And so we're going to talk about that today. Okay. So 3 things I'm going to address during today's session. I'm going to kick off with speaking opportunities, because a lot of you don't realize the multiple ways that you could get into a speaker circuit when it comes to public speaking engagements. And I want to be able to address that. So just to make sure I'm aware what you are aware of, right? Put some comments in the chat. What type of speaker engagement opportunities do you think is available in your specific industry? Just put it in the chat. Just put it in the chat. Okay. What different speaking engagement opportunities do you think are available to you to be able to break into the speaker circuit? Because a lot of times people think really monotone about what's available, right? So training and facilitation for skills. What else? Right? And as the comments come in, right? Wonderful, wonderful. Benefits of fitness on over. Right. Keep the comments coming, right? Entrepreneurship training, right? There's so many different topics and so many different speaking engagement opportunities that people need, right? We got women empowerment, right? And shout out any topic that you want to be able to speak on, right? And I want to show you the range of topics that are available for you to discuss, right? Got beautiful speaking education institution, mom groups, medical offices. Let's keep them going, right? And when you think about all these topics, they're so varied. There's so many things you could speak to in multiple different stages. I mean, navigating the corporate ladder is a big one right now, right? Birth and babies, books, and billions. Woo! Great. These topics are coming really good, right? Really, really good. Keep them coming. You guys are doing really, really well, by the way. I love the energy and I love the topics. And I want you guys to see the range of topics, and the reason why I'm bringing this to the front, because I think a lot of you came in thinking that you need to speak about a topic that automatically makes people money, right? So someone told me when I was having a one-on-one with them that, oh, well, I don't speak about, entrepreneurship or technology or public speaking, so that might not get me booked, right? Don't let these online gurus fool you thinking that you need to have a lucrative speaker topic in order to get booked. There are problems in every facet of people's lives. So people are going to need your expertise across different ranges. So open your mind to multiple opportunities. I mean, music, right? There's so many different topics, the informal sector, right? So many different topics. So now that we got that off the ground, that you can see there's multiple different things that you could bring out there to speak on, right? And I see there's many coming in there. Oh, I love this. Getting pregnant after age 35. Beautiful topics, guys, right? And I love how the variation of them too, right? The other thing I want to say, what format of speaking do you think is also available to you as speakers? So we talked about the topics, different ranges, but format. Many of you know the keynote. What other formats of public speaking do you think you could tap into to get on the stage? Tell me the formats. I just told you one, keynote. Tell me the formats you think are available to you to speak on global stages around the world. Keynote is one. And I see that now you guys are a little bit stumped because wait, what do you mean by format? And this is the point I'm trying to make. A lot of people don't know different formats of public speaking, right? So I got someone who said moderation. So you got someone who knows moderator. So that's 2, right? Let's see if we can find the other ones. So news is also probably like a news anchor, right? Informing the public, right? Workshops, that's another. See, you guys are thinking workshops. That's number 3, right? So we got a very, powerful audience here. You guys are doing really good. Facilitating a workshop, right? So you guys are coming in there, right? And so the 3 key formats that usually you could break on stage to is the keynote format, which is anywhere from 15 minutes to as much as 30 minutes. Anything beyond that gets really, really heavy for our audience to follow, right? Then you got the panel where you're speaking on a panel with other experts. So you all are giving questions and responding and giving your perspective on the conversation. So you see that all the time. And then the workshop. And these 3 formats, you are the expert giving wisdom, giving feedback, giving thought leadership. It's really centered on you and your thought leadership. Now, there's also facilitator speaking engagements. And the following ones I'm going to share with you requires you to cast a spotlight on another speaker. So you're not the spotlight, but another speaker. And your task with really triggering authentic dialogue and expression. So that's fireside chat hosts. You see a lot of this right now with people moderating and interviewing people for podcasts, right? Panel moderator. So you are the moderator. So there's two or three other speakers, that are on a panel. So you're engaging in the conversation, asking them questions, or an MC host where you're organizing and coordinating between multiple speakers throughout the series of activations in an event, right? That's multiple hours, right? So these three, yes, you're on stage. Yes, you're speaking. Maybe you're summarizing, you're giving thought leadership in a way, but really you're not the focal point. And I'm saying this so you understand, because here's a trap that I see a lot of people who are trying to break in the public speaker circuit get caught into. They start moderating a lot of events, right? They do fireside chat, they MC, they moderate, and they realize that the ecosystem that they operate in not only see them as moderators and facilitators, and for them to transition from being a moderator to a public speaker, it's extremely difficult, because now people don't think you're a thought leader. People think you're a good facilitator of dialogue, but not a creator of conversation. And that gets people frustrated. How many of you think that you sit in that bucket where you're stuck a little bit, where every time you're trying to break into public speaking, where you're trying to be the thought leader and get booked, people see you more as a facilitator because of the constant acceptance that you have had with just accepting the moderator role? And I've seen people do this because you just want to be on stage, and not in a bad way, but you just want to be able to have access to be able to speak at an event. And it looks cool because you get a flyer, you're, promoted at the event as one of the speakers, but you're not a speaker, right? And you find that moderators, especially at the end of every session, you don't, get people asking you questions. You don't get people really networking with you, because again, you're not the thought leader. You're not the person that's going to solve the problem, right? You're the moderator. So I want to make sure that that's addressed so people understand that you got to pick the format that really works for you, and understand that if you enter this facilitator role, that might keep you stuck within your local ecosystem, and it's going to be a little bit hard to break out of that after a while, right? So just want to share that with you. Now let's talk about speaker fees. I know everyone wants to talk about speaker fees. Let me ask you this. How much money do you think it costs for a speaker to speak for 1 hour at an event? Give me some numbers on the chat. How much do you think it costs for someone to speak at an event for 1 hour? Give me some numbers on the chat. How much you think it costs to speak at an event for 1 hour? And this is big because a lot of you have shared in your feedback that you don't even know what to charge, right? So team, keep them coming. So we got 5 to 100K. Okay. Anyone else? Danielle was the first one out there. We got 5,000. We got 5K to 25K. We got 5,000. Seems like 5,000 is a popular number. Depends on who you are. And we're getting there. Always do for free. So one person said they always do for free, so they're not sure. That's why I'm here. Don't worry. We're going to get you to the transition, Sonia. No worries. 50. 1,500 to 25K. Okay. 5K to 16K. Guys, keep the comments coming, because the numbers are coming up, right? And the reason why I want you guys to see this, right, is because in a sense, all of you are correct and all of you are wrong at the same time. And let me explain. When it comes to speaker fees, right, here's the thing about speaker fees. One, it does depend on who you are and your credibility, right? So no two speakers are really created the same, right? So one speaker might be able to, get $500, where another person might be, get paid $5,000 for the same topic, but it just depends on their thought leadership and how they are able to solve our audience problem versus someone who's a novice or experienced in negotiating. That's another big that causes people to not get as much money, is because they don't know how to negotiate for the right fees. That's one. Second, it also depends on the format that you're given the content, right? So workshops are a lot more expensive than keynotes. So you could charge a lot more for a workshop facilitation versus a keynote. Okay, so you could get a keynote booked for like $500 and charge $50,000 for a workshop, right? It's a crazy range, but the point is that there are ranges when it comes to public speaking engagements, and understand that the fees can really range depending on who you are, the facilitating format and the scope of the work, because sometimes, the scope of the keynote versus this workshop versus a summit, it all has different variations, right? So let me start giving you some advice on speaker fees, because through the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program, we help you find your speaker fees and understand the different variations that come with different speaker fees. But for the sake of today, let's talk about some advice. One, when it comes to free, when you offer yourself for free to speak at an event, you got to understand this is just a visibility grab, and you got to make sure that you know how to convert that into other opportunities, because guess what? Not everyone knows that you're being offered this for free, right? And so you got to be able to leverage free engagements at the same time as paid engagements, right? So one thing I would say that a lot of people don't know is that speakers charge per speaker fee per engagement, not per hour. All right. So I've seen people who are novice to this industry think like, oh, if it's 3 hours, it's about 1,000 per hour. You're not a contractor or a consultant charging by the hour. No, you are a speaker. So you charge for the entire engagement. So if it's 1 hour, 3 hours, 2 hours, you charge for the entire engagement. Third, typically a virtual speaking event will cost about 10 to 50% less. Keep in mind, a lot of virtual events are usually free. However, depending on your caliber and your background, you could get paid for engagement. I mean, just like 2 weeks ago, I got paid $3,000 for a virtual engagement, right? For a university doing a virtual workshop for about 45 minutes with Q&A 15 minutes, right? So it just ranges on who you are. But I've also done virtual free speaking engagements, and all I want to do was to serve the audience and grow my community, right? So I have my CTA, so to say, my call to action per opportunity, whether it's free or paid, right? And this is another big thing that I need you guys to understand. A lot of you immediately think that you need to be listed on a speaker bureau to be able to get booked for engagements. And what a lot of you don't understand, that you can't really get on a speaker bureau if you're not already having traction to get booked for speaking engagements. Because keep in mind, speaker bureaus, they get a commission and a fee from events that you get booked at. So let's say, they're a 10% commission process. So if they get you a 10K gig, right? You get $9K, they get $1K, right? So these are things that you need to be understanding of, that if you charge less than $10K per engagement, it's not something that when it comes to negotiation that really helps. Never give a specific price for your fee. Always give a range and a spread, not a chaotic spread like from 3,000 to 100,000, because now you sound crazy, right? You can't be a speaker that charges 3,000 and one that also charges 1,000. Okay, so you got to give a spread. So you can say like, look, for typical engagements, depending on the scope of work, is between 3 to 5K. Right, for virtual engagements. However, for in-person engagements, it can be between 8,000 and 10,000. Now, keep in mind, I'm giving you an example, but some of you, it's $500, $1,500, right? Like, you cannot just immediately say, I'm just going to charge 3 to 5K out the gate if there's not really a lot of traction to show you as a public speaker. So I always tell people, how many reps of real, tangible, great speaking engagements do you have? And that will dictate the range that you could charge. I tell people that when you think about the range, I'm going to go into in the next slide, but really think about how many reps of speaking engagements did you have under your belt before you think you have earned the right to ask higher amounts, right? And of course, speaker fees range dependent on who books you. Is it an association? Is it a corporate? Is it a government? I have government clients who book me for speaking engagements that are very lucrative in comparison to corporates. By far, the most lucrative is corporate engagements for a reason, right? And so understand, sometimes when you're also negotiating for your speaker fee, give them your range, give them your fee, give them what you do, and then just shut up. I'm going to say that again. Tell them your quote and then shut up, right? A lot of you just talk and talk and talk and say that, because in that awkward silence, you just want to keep trying to pitch yourself even more. And I will tell you, the more you talk, the more you cheapen yourself, right? I tell people, give your price and let it go. Right? Let them ask you a follow-up question. And if there's an awkward silence where they're also trying to, do the same negotiation tactic with you and not respond, you can say like, look, let me know what your thoughts are when you're ready. I just quoted my fee and I'll get back to you. Simple. That just ends the silence right there without you going back and forth and say, well, usually I charge for this. Sometimes I've charged this. Like, don't do that. And I see that happen all the time where people kind of negotiate themselves off of the table and end up not even getting anything for a speaking engagement, right? Don't do that. So let's talk about ranges. Typically, these are the 3 speaker brackets that you need to think about when it comes to speaker fees. And I'm breaking down for you because I know you're going to ask this, so I'm going to tell you, okay? The first speaker fee bracket is anywhere from $0 to $10,000 per event. If you are in this range because you're pretty much new at public speaking, you haven't really gained a lot of traction, but depending on what network you tap into, you're able to get booked for certain engagements. So that 10,000 mark might be a corporate engagement, to keynote at an event. Maybe you might be averaging maybe $500, $1,500 just to get your feet wet in the market, but you're still doing a lot of free engagements. That's the first speaker bracket. The second bracket is 10,000, right? After you go under 10,000, like I said, the common range is $1,500 to $3,000 per engagement. The next, a speaker fee is usually from $10,000 to $30,000. And at this rate, you have some credibility. You can't think that you're going to just charge $10,000 and above out the gate when you don't have any credibility in the market. I tend to find it very difficult to see that someone can actually get really good, consistent speaker fees at $10,000 and above without a speaker reel, a demo, and a proposal. This is the reason why during the program, we help you create all the collateral that you need so that when you reach out to organizers, you have the collateral and credibility to be able to get booked at that high amount. And the third speaker bracket is usually reserved for real mainstream people in their industry and real mainstream people that we know on the internet, like celebrities, tech moguls, business moguls, and that's $30,000 and above per event, okay? And you will know when you make it to that bracket, okay? So with that said, when negotiating for your fee, when someone asks you what is your fee, instead of giving them a number, say, what budget do you have for speakers? You put it on them to give you a range so that way you can work from them. If they say, well, it's a range, well, can you give me a ballpark of what was being offered to the keynote speaker of this year? You see where I go there, right? Again, reinforcing that you want them to give you the answer so that way you're not overworking yourself, negotiating yourself out of an opportunity, okay? If they say, okay, well, we charge speakers to speak at events, run away. Bye-bye, close the books, thank you. Not today, you could go. And I'm telling you right now, because this happens all the time, do not pay to speak. You're not a corporate sponsor. Let them find the money someplace else. I'm going to say it again. Don't pay to speak. Don't pay to speak. Don't pay to speak. I'm going to say it again. Don't pay to speak. All right. If someone tells you they charge a fee for you to speak at the event, run away. Pack up your bags. Even take off your shoes so you can run faster. Walk away. Don't even take it. We're not even going to discuss it further. Just don't take it. All right. I want to make sure you know that. Now, if they say, okay, we will pay you at the end of the talk. Let's say you got so far to negotiate and now you got a fee on the table and now you're in the races now. You're ready to go, right? And they say they'll pay you at the end of the talk. Say no. According to my speaker agreements, I usually get 50% minimum up front. And then at the end of my presentation on my work, then I get 50%. Always do this because let me tell you something. You never want to be in a situation where you're chasing someone or chasing an institution for your speaker fees. Because what happens is when an event is being organized, the last person they think of is usually the speaker themselves, right? Because they're thinking about the vendors and all the immediate people that's in their face that's going to want their payments. And you're usually the last person on the totem pole. So always negotiate the contract up front and say, look, 50% minimum, and then this. It gave me 20% minimum. I don't care, but you got to there has to be a transfer. And this is in part 2 to this. Not only do you make sure that they are paying you up front, a second thing happens. Once they are able to pay money into your account, 2 things happen. You double down and make sure to really prepare for the event really well. And they also are emotionally invested in you succeeding. Okay, that's number 2. And number 3, it's faster for them to complete the payment after. If they're able to pay you in advance, the account is already on the record. All they got to do is click send and are able to pay you sometimes the same day on the spot once you get off the stage. This happens to me all the time. I regret doing this early in my career where I didn't know this. And I used to like have to chase, event organizers for weeks on end to get paid. And at a certain point, you're at a window where they're just like, kind of like over it, right? So always make sure you have it on paper and get the money up front before you even go back and forth with your payment. Okay. And the last one, and this is a very common one, especially in today's economy, we don't cover hotel and travel. Okay. And this one is a very big one. What I suggest, I understand now that a lot of event organizers, including us in our industry, but we're mainly a non-for-profit organization, so I understand why we're doing it, but I'm seeing a trend across the ecosystem. This is me being honest with you. A lot of us are not paying for travel. And the reason why is it's not even because of the cost, it's because logistically it's the most stressful part of managing a speaker. Sometimes flights get delayed, something happens, they're en route, they get sick, something occurs. And then, if there's an issue in the middle of the night, they need to speak to someone. Now you're logistically kind of on the line to manage someone's entire experience. Because let's say they're at, a hotel, they're at they're at an airport and their layover flight gets delayed and they need someone to rebook them, something happens, you got to be ready on call. So a lot of event organizers, now, unless they have a specific team to organize logistics and travel, they just don't do it. So I'm saying this so you understand what conferences to reach out to, that if it's very clear that the conference logistical team doesn't have full-time people to help with the logistics on booking speakers and their travel plans, don't do it, right? However, hotels should be accommodated at a certain extent because and then they have usually hotel partners for the event and they can cover that. But if you're at a point where you're just like, look, the cost for you to cover your own hotel and travel, I suggest just walk away from it. If you want to build visibility, start with your local ecosystem, because it's like, for some of you, if let's say you're based in New York, it's a train ride away, it's a bus stop away, it's a car ride away for you to go to the speaking engagement, do your thing, get some credibility, build your community, and walk away and come back, right? Whereas traveling to another destination, unless it's one of your hallmark events that you want to, and you should have like a wish list of where you want to speak at every single year, I suggest that you either create a quota, or maybe you'll do the expenses for like 2 or 3 events per year. And I do suggest that you still do that because some of these stages are worth the investment. So for example, Web Summit, which is in front of thousands of people, or South by Southwest, which is another big event, right? If you feel like that is worth the investment, you can make the investments once or twice or even 3 times a year and say, okay, I'll do that. And once that quota is done, you move on. Okay. So wanted to make sure I see that. And we do have a question. Do these prices include travel and accommodation or does not? So great question. So when you're quoting your speaker fee, it has nothing to do with travel or accommodation. Your honorarium or your speaker fee is completely separate from travel and accommodation. There are instances where the event organizer will tell you our budget for booking you as a speaker is 10 grand, which means we can pay you 7 grand and cover 3K for expenses. They can tell you what their budget cap is, but a lot of times when you're negotiating the fee and you're telling them what your fee is irrespective and outside of the lines of travel accommodation. That's very, very different. Okay. So I just want to make sure you understood that. Great question. Okay. Any other questions on the call? Keep them coming. I'm trying to be very organic with questions today. Okay. So with that said, we just talked about speaker fees, and I could tell you guys like it. Thank you for the comments. Really energized on that talk. Let's talk about how much money you could be projected to make. Now, before I get into this, I want to make a disclaimer. The numbers I'm about to show you is no means a guarantee, one, and by no means is something that's going to happen to you immediately out the gate. 2 and 3 is really an illustration of how to map out once you start getting really good in the speaker circuit and getting booked for speaking engagements on a consistent basis. In the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program, I make no guarantees, but I do show you how to get to this path of being able to get booked and be able to even forecast your entire year purely based on speaking fees, because I do it every single year. I'm even mapping out right now. Half of my year is already booked, right? Because I'm actually doing less in-person engagements next year and do more virtual engagements next year, just because like of my family plans. I just want to be at home more and monetizing from the comfort of my home. That's me where I'm at. I'm over traveling 60 countries a year for speaking engagements, which by the way, I had a year where I did travel to close to about 38 countries in 1 year. And that was a crazy cycle, right? But the point is, I'm going to show you some numbers of how I map out speaking engagements in terms of fees. And I'm going to show you how you could actually make it lucrative depending on the type of engagement that you do. So you can see that building an entire lifestyle for speaking is very possible, right? And it's very possible just sometimes within a short couple of months, depending on the reps that you do and doing the outreach and really connecting with event organizers. And in the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program, I share with you how to build the networks to be able to do that. Right now, Danielle just asked a great question. Should my company, can we put that back up, team? Should my company be charging them and treating this as a revenue source, or does this income get counted as personal? It depends on you. If you are speaking on global stages based on your personal brand, that is a personal income source, right? But if it's you, let's say, remember I asked you guys at the beginning of the program, are you speaking at events to generate leads for your business? Then you could count it as pretty much a revenue source, a revenue stream for the business as well. Okay. I used to do that a lot in the beginning of my business. A lot of my speaking engagements, the revenue went straight through my business account because the goal of my speaking engagement was to convert audiences, right? Now I've incorporated my personal brand. So all my speaking engagements really go through my personal brand, and it doesn't come through my personal accounts because I've institutionalized my personal brand. So a great question. And someone just says, I have both a nonprofit and for-profit. Doesn't matter which one bills. I suggest you do not have your speaking engagements go through your nonprofit because it is a lucrative paid engagement. I suggest it goes to your for-profit and you deal with the taxes as you see fit if you're based in America. Just FYI, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a financial advisor, but just want to put that out there. Okay. So let's transition to potential income. So I already shared with you the outreach system yesterday about scope. And obviously after a certain point, you're going to have a CRM or a spreadsheet to manage your outreach and your bookings. You close conversations, you're reaching out. In the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program, we give you the templates and the scripts so you don't have to do anything from scratch. Copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. We make it very easy for you to reach out to event booking influencers, and then getting into the reps of delivering your keynote, fulfilling their agreement, and really creating a viral loop cycle. Here's what it looks like. Okay. One big question people ask, can I maintain a lifestyle purely from public speaking? And the answer is yes, you can. And this is how it will look like, right? When you have a good signature talk in the form of a keynote, you can create so much content around a signature talk. And this is what I've done. And this is why I'm able to even sit here I feel so grateful that I could be in the position of where I'm at right now, where I have been able to monetize my thought leadership in multiple different formats. And let me tell you, as a digital creator and an entrepreneur, it's fun. It's fun to take your keynote, at least for me, it's fun to take your keynote and turn it into a workshop that people can implement, and turn it into a retreat, and turn it into a series, and turn it into a course, because you are leveraging different formats to provide value to people. And I love that because I can inspire people in a 15-minute keynote. I can train people in a workshop. I can transform someone's life in a course. Do you see that momentum? I love being able to do that, right? Being able to leverage what I've learned to be able to do it in different formats. And the beauty of that is not only are you able to impact people's lives in different formats, it's also a lucrative opportunity for you to do so as well, right? So one keynote can be turned into a multi-day workshop for corporate professionals, can be turned into a multi-day conference where you can invite key players in the industry to speak alongside you. You could turn it into a retreat curriculum. You could launch a course. You could do a podcast. You could do a membership community. The list of opportunities go on and on and on and on. And for me, I started by tracking all of this on a spreadsheet, okay? Like where I reach out to different organizers about, events that we want to speak at. We see the follow-up. If you see here, screenshot, date of the event, name of the event, whether it was virtual or not. Did I apply? It was an application. Was it free? Yes. Or is there a fee? Yes. What are the amount they're paying? $1,000 for a keynote? Did it pay? move forward. And I always keep track of everyone I work with. So for those of you who've done free engagements, you need to have a spreadsheet of the top 5 or 10 speaking engagements that you did. Make sure you have the contact information of that person. Reach out to that person and ask them, do they know any events that they could refer to? And before you ask that question, if you want opportunities, you got to make it easy for people to give it to you on a silver platter. What I suggest you do, for those of you on the call, you've done a bunch of free engagements, and this is an exercise I go through with my workshop participants, is that go on that person's LinkedIn and see what other events they're organizing or who they know that are also event bookers, right? So for example, let's say I spoke at an event at the UN, and that event I spoke for free because I was speaking at the UN. The person who booked me, let's say her name for the sake of this thing is Jane Doe. I would go on Jane Doe's LinkedIn profile and see what other events she's hosting. Let's say she's hosting 3 events this year. I'll reach out to her, see if I can either get paid for any of these engagements because I've proven myself already. And she said that they still don't have a budget to pay me. Like I said, okay, look, I noticed that you know Catherine, right? She's organizing this big tech conference in Utah. Can you make a soft introduction to her so that way I can see if I can get her event? And can you also, if she asks for a recommendation, can you speak highly of me so that way I can close it as a paid engagement? You see what I did there? Is either you follow up with any event that you've got for free to see if you could get converted into a paid engagement, or ask them to do a soft introduction to another event organizer to pay you. You see that? So again, there's always opportunity in your portfolio. You just got to be able to convert it. Okay. So with that said, this is what it looks like. Okay. So let's say you are charging $1,000, okay, for a speaking engagement, and the highest you've ever charged was $5,000. So on average, if you're doing, let's say 2 or so events, you're getting, you're doing $3,000, right, in speaker fees. And let's say, you do about 25, you reach out to 25 keynote opportunities, you do 2 events per month, right? What you're seeing there is after a year of doing 25 different keynotes in different formats, priced at $3,000 is your average fee, because some events you get paid $1,000, some events you get paid $2,000, some events you get paid $3,000. The average that you're earning per event is $3,000. You have now made $75,000 for the year, right? Now, some of you might say, okay, I love this. How do I make this happen? Well, you got to run the reps. And usually what it requires for you to get that 75K, if you're new to the industry, after a certain point, you'll start to build a referral ecosystem and traction where you get a lot more inbound, right? But if you think about it, if you reach out to at least 100 leads per month to get those 2, right? And this is worst case scenario, by the way. You reach out to 100 events per month. That's 1,250 leads, okay? To get you to that 25 that books you to make that 75K. Is everyone with me and following? Right? And someone just asked, do we have a starter pack or resources for beginning keynote speakers? We do, but it's in the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program. That starter pack has all the templates, the formats, the spreadsheet, everything you need to start today is in the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program. And I'll share a little bit more about that later on. Okay. So yes, going back to this calculator, which by the way, you get in the program, we're able to map out just doing keynote sessions, right? And again, this is on the low end where you're just, doing 1,000. Now, even if worst case scenario, you're not able to break past $1,000 per speaking engagement, and you only get 1,000 per gig, and you do 25 gigs, that's $25,000. For a lot of you, having an additional 25K will be a game changer in terms of just paying for random things that you have on your plate, right? So these are the things to think about when it comes to building your brand through speaking engagements purely through just keynotes. Let's take a step further and add workshops. Let's say you are able to close 5 engagements with, a corporate sponsors, right? And again, workshops are you charge a little bit more, but let's say you charge $10,000 per workshop and you do about 5 in the year. Okay. Now you're looking at your keynotes, 75K, workshops at 50K. Now you're at 125 grand full time. Now you essentially have crossed the mark with those corporate engagements, doing workshops. You're now able to live purely off your speaker business. Do you see this evolution? And I say this because a lot of times people think that they could just do it through keynotes, but you will burn out. And I'm saying this because I did this where even when I was charging higher for fees, you still burn out to get to the higher six-figure levels. When you add workshops, you do less for more, right? And you're able to close the gap a lot faster, right? 5 engagements, I got 50K, and that's at the low end bar, right? So I just want to share this with you, just with adding workshops to that. Now you're at a full-time salary of $125,000 for the year. Okay, let's go a little bit further. Now, let's say you want to listen to my advice and go through my paid speaker career accelerator program, where I share with you how to go beyond keynotes and beyond workshops and really look at your personal brand as an ecosystem of products that you can create over time. Now you're getting average 3,000 per engagement. You made 75,000 for your keynotes, 50,000 for your workshops. Then let's say you launch a course and you get 20 people to buy the course in a year. Now you made 20K per year doing that. Then you start doing a conference. Maybe you do one conference per year. You charge $300 for people to come and you get 100 people to do it. You just made $30,000 with your conference. And let's say you do a retreat. You charge $5,000 for people to come for a 3-day retreat to a community or a spa place that you know, and you got 10 people to book it. Now you made $50,000. And now you're pretty much reaching $250,000 for the year. These numbers are real, okay? These numbers are real. And the question I want to ask you, are you ready to experience these numbers as a public speaker? Comment ready if you're ready to experience these type of numbers as a public speaker. Comment ready. Because these numbers are real, okay? And these, by the way, are the ranges that I've charged for a lot of my engagements. Like for events that I've hosted, $300 per person. For courses that I've charged, making 20K, right? And for retreats that I charge, where I even have a retreat this December in Accra where it's 5,000 per person. All I need is 10. And I got 50K, right? And a lot of you guys said that you're ready, right? So this is the extent of, and it gets better and better and better. Right. And if you think about what I want you to remember here, it's not even just the numbers of money that you'll be making, but the reps that you need to do to get to that. It's really simple, right? Can you find 20 people that will pay for a course learning from you in a year? Yes, you can. That's like less than one person per month. Are we following? That's less than one person a month, right? Can you find 5 different companies who want to book you for a workshop in a year? That's like one corporate client every 2 months, every 60 days. Yes, you can, right? It is very possible, but you got to run the reps, right? And keep it very simple and keep it very easy, right? Like I said, I'm a mother, right? I can't be out there hustling, trying to get booking engagements. No, but I can do it from the comfort of my home with something called the internet, Wi-Fi, and a spreadsheet, y'all. That's it, right? So this is all you need to do, right? So when you look at your personal brand and look at it through the lens of public speaking opens doors. And that's what I wanted to give you a visual. All the different ways you can monetize and do so many unique things with your personal brand. Public speaking is a very phenomenal catalyst for this. And the last thing I will say about monetizing is that you got to come up with your strategy of how you want to get paid. Do you want to get paid up front and purely just get paid with speaker fees? Do you want to get paid on the back end where you get paid by going to an event and speaking for free, but you monetize the audience through your products? I've done this before. I'll kid you not, I had an event where I spoke at, it was for free. It was in California. I did a workshop about 100 different ways to hack and build a product base. And the call to action at the end is I have a follow-up webinar that I'm going to invite you guys to. Here's the, at the time I didn't have a QR code, but there was a link for you to sign up. I got about 200 something registrations, and I was able to make about $8,000 from that. $8,000. They didn't pay me to speak at that event, but I made $8,000. Do you see where I'm coming from? So even free engagements can become lucrative. Okay. And then of course you have option number 3 where you can get paid upfront and on the back end. That's they pay you for to come to the event, right? But you also still monetize the audience by inviting them to stay in your loop cycle and monetize that. So another event that I did that was really great. I got paid for a corporate engagement. It was a very great contract and got to speak at the event. They paid me to come to speak at that corporate. It was like a roundtable for women executives at the institution. And the call to action, I invited the women to join me for my personal brand accelerator program. And again, made another 5-digit close at that corporate institution, right? So again, even getting paid to speak and then getting paid again, that's double whammy, right? So these realities are possible. And one thing I would say, once you start getting into the speaker circuit, once you get the gig, deliver the opportunity and create new opportunities. And I always tell people there's a window of time where everybody in the world wants to meet you, right? So anytime I do an engagement, as soon as I walk on stage, I am extremely alert about networking with as many people as possible and making it easy for them to follow up with me. Because in that 15 minutes, I call it the 15-minute window of fame. When you get off stage, that's when audience members rush you up. They want to talk to you. They want to follow up. And that's when you might get recommended for another speaking engagement or be able to convert a client on the spot, right? And what that looks like is for every event, you want to be able to create new speaking engagement opportunities because you're able to convert the audience into opportunities, right? And so one thing I will say, the next time you do an engagement, right, you need to be very, very cognizant of the fact that once you get off stage, you got a 15-minute window to network. So one thing I tell you I do, I have a QR card for people to sign up to download a resource. One of the best call to action I have, like if you want access to my slides at the end of the event, scan the QR code so you could get my email and I will email it to you. That's a great way to get thousands of people from the audience to convert and get into your newsletter list and then also be able to monetize them down the road, right? Shout out your team so that way the crowd knows that you're not by yourself and can be able to connect with you through your team. I do this all the time because when I get bombarded at the end of the event, I have my team with me to be able to feel way through people's recommendations so that way you can follow up. And I always follow up the same day if I can by the next day the latest, because once people are emotionally charged and want to work with you or want to book you, you need to get them immediately. Like, I mean, immediately, because after a while, the emotion wears thin, they move on. And now you start to go through almost like a new process to be able to close that engagement. So that 15-minute window of fame is very, very crucial. So I've done this all the time. So this is me speaking at an event in London in front of 5,000 people. And I will tell you, first off, everyone cried at the end of that event. I had a standing ovation, by the way. And as soon as I got off the stage, I was literally bombarded, right? And you know what? I stayed there for about 3.5 hours. I kid you not. I was standing so long, speaking to people one by one. I had to pull a chair and pick a corner outside of the room to talk to people. And I do this because I know the conversion is in the opportunities that come within that window. Once a person sleeps on it, of course, people still will network with you and engage with you. They want to take action on what you just did to them from the stage, right? Convert that window. And we teach this in the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program, where we show you how to leverage that window of time to convert it into further opportunities, right? And like I said, this is where you can monetize with a product suite, and this is more personal branding. And I've done this over and over, where I invite people to another event that I'm doing and I monetize it that way. And you start to look at your speaker career as a full-fledged business, because now you're monetizing it in different formats. This is a spreadsheet that we provide during the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program of you experimenting with different products, right? Ranging from $0 to just convert and get emails to as high as $2,500, right? Where you're making money in multiple different formats. And we share with you all different platforms that you make money with your speaker content. So this is not something that we have time to cover today for the bootcamp, but we also talk about how to monetize your speaking engagements through Skillshare, Udemy, Thinkific, and all these different corporate platforms that are out there looking for people to even speak virtually, right? And the reason why I say that is because we live in a virtual space, and a lot of people think that they only need to monetize on the stage. You can make money as a speaker from your laptop as well, right? So I always share that with people. Don't always close the loop cycle. I kick off a lot of my engagements per year through virtual engagements, and I love it, right? And keeping, doing the reps with that. So with that said, we have covered a lot, guys, right? And today was really all about opening your awareness to what's in front of you when it comes to leveraging public speaker to not only accelerate your career, but really build out a lucrative lifestyle that you could live on, right? And all we did over the past couple of days was a simple 4-step process. 1, talked about how to optimize your social media page, because that is front and center, your lead magnet for opportunities. 2, how to create the video that you need for people to want to engage with you, so the promotion part. And then product, how to create your signature talk. This is by far the most crucial part to getting paid to speak, is creating that signature talk. And then finally creating the portfolio. Number 4, which is creating the pipeline system to be able to really outreach and find engagement. So that way you're managing inbound, but also outbound opportunities. And that is it, y'all. So with that said, I'm going to answer a couple questions on the call, but this by far has been a phenomenal opportunity, right? For many of you, you have seen that this has been a really, really intensive 5-day boot camp where we covered a lot, and there's a lot to flesh out, right? If you want to, again, this is my invitation to you all. Team, you can share the link on the chat so that way they can jump in on this, right? If you want to implement this, right, and you want to get started immediately so you can start seeing results, even in 2024, right, getting booked for engagements in 2024 and beyond, I welcome you to invite you to the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator Program for 3 reasons. One, I'm hosting this series live virtually twice a week, where I will come on to coach you through how to be able to get booked as a public speaker and really leverage this as a tool to get visibility, credibility, and authority. I'm hosting it live. If you enjoyed how the insights and my way of thinking, a lot of people say, Christine, the way you think, the way you strategize, the way you execute is completely on a different level, right? Many of you could attest to that because you experienced it over the past 5 days, right? Let's execute, and let me give you the feedback you need to execute live. So it's not a pre-recorded session, it is live. Obviously, you'll get the recordings after every session immediately and all the workbook and templates that you need to continue forward, but I am live to coach you. The second reason why I think this is a phenomenal opportunity is the timing. The economy is just shifting right now, and we are at a time where you need to really create high visibility and credibility in a market that is really shot in terms of trust. Being a public speaker and a thought leader creates automatic credibility that will sustain you throughout the duration of your career. It has worked for me. A lot of people book this program simply because I said I was hosting it. And then, of course, when they got on it, like, this is crazy, right? This is crazy amazing. That's the power of public speaking. When people have seen you speak before and see your credibility, you're able to convert that. And last but not least is because this is the only time that I'm doing it this year. There won't be another time for you to capitalize on this year. It won't be till later on in 2025 during the second half. So you would have to wait a whole nother year to be able to capitalize on learning this opportunity. We all know past, the mid-year mark is really hard to see a real traction when it comes to you getting drained out by the end of the year. Let's end 2024 on a high and kick off 2025 the way you want it to be, right? And so I invite you guys to join me for this program. Team, share on the chat the ability for them to join this program. I will love for you guys to join me for this program, because like I said, this is a phenomenal opportunity for all of you to be able to really grow your audience, grow your network, and be able to create pretty much a recession-proof backup plan, which is your thought leadership, and being able to get that out there as quickly as possible. So with that said, I want to see if there were any other questions on the call that I could address. We have 5 more minutes here before I conclude, but I wanted to answer any last minute questions. And I will put a timer to give you guys time right now to be able to book and join the program. We do have a payment plan option of $847, which is 3 installment payments for you to be able to book and join. But mind you, pay in full members get automatically access to 2 live personal one-on-one coaching sessions with me. Okay. Whereas the payment plan option, you get 1 one-on-one coaching session, just FYI. So be able to see what plan works for you. And obviously, I charge consulting fees for people to be able to get feedback from me, right? And I charge about $3,000 per hour. So for you to have access to me for several weeks to teach you these methods and implement them, because keep in mind, I'm a really hands-on person. I'm going to help you implement and execute. This is really a phenomenal opportunity. You guys could see that, you could tell. So I'm glad that many of you had really learned a lot from this program. Any feedback or comments? I would love some testimonials from this 5-day bootcamp. If you guys could take a couple of seconds to tell me what was the best part of this program. We love, with your permission, to be able to use as testimonials in the future. Please, on the chat, let me know what was the best part of the 5-day series. I would love to hear from you guys. What was the biggest aha moment that you received from the program, right? I would love to hear that from you guys right now. There was so much shared in 5 days. I would love to that. And I'm glad to see some of you guys are ready for the program. Yes, I can't wait to see you in the program as well. Right? Tell me, what was your biggest aha moment from the program? What was your best part from doing this program? Okay. And team, you can share on the chat once you see them coming in. And are there any questions? We'd love to hear questions from the call. Questions, guys. Thank you so much. Yes, guys, keep the feedback coming. Let me know, like, if it was even worth it for you guys. Did you guys learn a lot? Like, what was your biggest aha moment? Like, do me that courtesy of let me know, like, what was the best part? Do me the courtesy of just dropping a testimonial in the chats for everyone to see. It would serve not only my team who've been here on the back end and been so supportive over the past 5 days, but look, the best thing you could give someone is a compliment. So let me know what was helpful to you guys. Like, let me know in the chat. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right. You guys, look, this is the final day of the speaker booking boot camp. Tell me, what was your feedback, your best moments, what you learned? I am really appreciative of the feedback that's coming in right now. You guys were really great. I had a lot of fun with all of you, by the way. You guys learned a lot. You learned a lot. And the beauty of this is, like, a lot of you guys said I gave you guys real insight and information. So really good. So let's see. I see a couple questions. So someone just asked, would you say this works for people who already have a business or a niche topic, or it's for anyone? Shaima, anyone. I don't care if you've never spoken before, you've never had a business. This business accelerator program, for a speaker career accelerator program, is for everyone. No matter what, you have expertise somewhere, and my job is to help you craft that into a signature talk to get booked. So it is for everyone. It's a great question. Really great question. Okay. And how many of you have a shift in your thinking about public speaking because of this program, right? Because a lot of you will say, like, you came in with a thought process or a mentality around how to get booked. And maybe I said something that shift your entire thinking or perspective on your strategy when it comes to public speaking. A lot of you guys share that via email, but we'd love for you to share with each other, because, guys, I do want to also welcome you guys to join the Facebook group at the end of this program, right? Because I want you guys to stay in touch with each other as you guys get booked for engagements and stay in touch. And many of you are going to be joining me for the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program. So that's going to be even more intimate program. I see a question on the comment. How long is the program? So, guys, the program starts the first week of November. The sessions will be twice a week. Okay. And we're aiming to have the sessions once during the work week and once during Saturdays. Okay. So you'll find out more information about that, but they're live twice a week. So great question. And they're about 6 sessions. Okay. So 6 weeks, sorry. So twice a week. And then we're able to convene. And keep in mind, some of the sessions are optional implementation, but we have, like, the weekly lives where I come in and I workshop like this, but we go down to the granular to make sure that you're executing. Yes, and even the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program is similar. It's 1 hour, at most an hour and 15 minutes per session, because I know what tipping point that people start to get overwhelmed. And so by just giving you bite-sized execution, like high converting things to do, you're able to really see a lot of traction very quickly. Okay. Really great question. Another question I see here on the program, guys, please feel free to even share these questions on the thread so people can see them as well, was do we accept payment plans in different formats? Guys, so these are the payment options. If you want to discuss alternative methods, please just email our team. Can we share the team email, right, on the call? hello@christineandtim.com. Call us, text us, have a conversation. Some of you guys I've had one-on-ones. I'm happy to say that every single person I've had a one-on-one with booked to join the program, right? So I'm not saying I'm a salesperson. I'm just saying that I think that those of you who booked to join know that this is the right time to be a part of a program like this, because you know what it will do for your future. I think a lot of you forget it's not about the specifics of the program. I don't get caught up in just here's the curriculum, here's the agenda. No, I focus on what transformation am I going to give you at the end of the program. You're coming in with a challenge. You're coming in because you are not able to get booked for speaking engagements. One, you're coming in because you're not able to get paid consistently for speaking engagements. You're coming in because you're frustrated and trying to get credibility and authority in your industry in a way that's lucrative. You're coming in because you don't want to depend on the job that you have. Maybe you want to transition from your business, and you want to know that you have a backup plan where your thought leadership can help you pretty much have a lucrative lifestyle, right? That's where you're coming in. And where I come in through this Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program, I'm saying let's go beyond 5 days. Let's work on making solutions for each one of these challenges and putting them into practice immediately, right? Let's get on it right now. So that way, as you enter 2025, this is no longer an issue. So you walk out confident that you're now a speaker. You're confident in negotiating opportunities. You're confident in finding engagement opportunities on a regular basis. You're confident in being able to get booked for a topic of your choice that you're passionate about that shows you in your best light. You're confident of how to even map out your entire year based on speaking engagements alone. Do you understand how nice that would feel for you to map out 2025 and know what's coming your way just because you could schedule that out based on the tools we're going to show you in this program? That is an amazing feeling, right? Especially when there's so much disruption and change happening, to know that you can map out what you need to do is really, really a great opportunity, right? So just want to remind you guys, the link is in the comments for you to be able to book to join the program. This is a phenomenal opportunity for you guys. And I'm glad that you guys are excited about continuing this conversation, continuing this work that you already invested in. And this is another thing that I would say, take this boot camp as the first week of the Accelerator program, which is something that I love to say, because the fundamentals of what I exposed you to during this boot camp, you already got the foundation to now go into execution mode into the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program, which is phenomenal, right? Because you got the blueprint of what needs to be done during this boot camp. So take this week as week 1. Okay, so now we're going to close out the loop cycle and move further with that. So great question on that. I really love the question that you asked about the timeline. What else do you guys have questions about? We'd love to hear what other questions do you guys have. Great questions. And thank you. I love the feedback that's coming in, guys, about this multi-day boot camp. I'm glad that it was insightful. And I want to address another elephant in the room. Because, y'all, can I be a little bit candid again with you guys? I like being candid with you guys. Let me give some feedback on this, right? Someone gave me a comment via DM, not on the thread, which bless her heart, child. She was trying to be sweet about it. But she gave a DM comment. My team caught it, and we had a meeting about, we have daily meets about the feedback and the what's going on in terms of the bootcamp every single day, because we love doing this. We love seeing how to even customize the content based on your questions and based on your needs. And one of the comments, she said, like, oh, did you just do this boot camp because you're just trying to convert and sell a product, right? What's the point in doing this boot camp and then charging at the end? So let me say this. Let me say this, okay? In this life, right? When you're good at what you do, when you're passionate about any subject matter, and you want to add value. So I want to add value to each one of your lives here today through this boot camp, through this challenge, through this workshop series. I have earned, shout out earned, if you know you provide value with asking nothing in return, and when you are ready to earn the right to say, I'm going to give you now an invitation to work with me further beyond this conversation. Shout out earned if you have had moments in your career where you have earned the right to invite people to work with you beyond what you've provided them a service. Shout out earned if you're on the call with me here today. And I want to say that because I think we've gotten to a point in society where we're so pissed off with so many different leaders failing to really come through for us in a truthful way, in an open way, in a transparent way. I am very transparent and open that yes, I do have a paid program that I'm going to invite you to at the end of this boot camp. And I'm proud to do that because I'm proud of the work that I do. And I know that I could give you results. Why would I want to be shouting that to the mountaintops, right? When you know you have a product or you have a service that you know is going to service others well, you are going to want to share about it. Right. And so I would love to feel that I earned the right to have shared this opportunity to invite you all to this program. Many of you have already booked to join. Many of you have referred other people to join. And I thank you so much for that. But come and earn if you feel that I've earned the right to invite you to join this program with me here today. Right. Because these are things that, for many of us, we should definitely be able to discuss. Right. I love this comment. She said, I have a 5-day workshop training in Africa and I charge $3,750 for 100 inspiring entrepreneurs. Yes. Yes. And thank you for everyone who's, guys, I appreciate it. Right. You guys are saying, yes, I've earned it. Right. Right. And then I want to put this back on you. You also earn the right to be invited to go beyond what you learned as well. It's a two-way street, right? I can't just provide you a service if you don't need it, right? And many of you have shared that, you know that you're at a crossroads in your career, but you're ready to make a bold decision, right? And all I'm saying that with all the bold decisions that you can make in your career, there are choices that you're going to make. You probably will choose to do it by yourself. Maybe it might take longer, but you could do that. Or you can make a choice of working with me. And I would hope that over the past couple of days, some of you already know me, so you already know my MO. So some of you book because you already know me already. But for those of you this is your first time engaged with me, I hope that you got to know me on a personal level because it will be mighty hard for you to get on a multi-week paid speaker career accelerator program if you didn't like me, right? And so this is a two-way street, guys. And I want to give you the window in this space to say that, look, like, I know we're tired and I know that the world has not delivered the promise of a good humanity that we've been searching for, but there are still good people in the world, right? Comment good if you know that there are still good people in the world that want to earn honestly, that want to earn with purpose and make an impact. Comment good if you know there are still good people in the world that you want to be able to work with. And right now it is separation season where people are trying to find their tribe. You want to find your community. And I will tell you guys, I already said that you guys have been amazing with your energy, your fire. Like, I really, really enjoyed teaching and coaching you guys because it will be very hard to coach and you just like radio silent, right? I mean, look at the comments you guys are giving right now, where you wouldn't say anything at all. So you gave me energy that I poured back into you guys. So let's, make sure for separation season that we're separating out the mess and taking in the good, because I want to be pretty much your mentor for life. I want to be a part of your network. I want to be a part of your journey as you build your speaker career. And I invite you once again to be a part of this program because I really do believe not only on the outcome and the benefits of this program, I believe in you. And I believe that you can be able to leverage this program to take yourself and your career to the next level because I already saw your energy in this boot camp. I already read your messages, read your feedback. I know what you guys are ready to do. So without further ado, I know there are not any more questions, but I just want to say thank you so much for giving me so much love and joy. You guys got to give me the opportunity to do what I love to do, which is teach, share vulnerable, powerful, effective insights. Thank you so much for joining me for the 5-day Get Booked as a Public Speaker Bootcamp so you can launch your career and accelerate your milestones, accelerate your goals. I want you to step into a new 2025. Let's move this conversation forward. Let's continue forward. I wish you guys all the best. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys on the other side through the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator program. It's my final invitation to you. And for those of you who've been a part of this 5-day live, thank you so much for everything that you've given into this. I know I had an amazing time. Thank you so much. And to that, cheers to your success. I'm only expecting great, phenomenal news from each and every one of you. Go out there and let's go get them. Bye, guys.
Christine and Tim.
Christine, Sofran, Nitin.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.